Welcome back to Live at the Roxy on this Wednesday, the day before Thanksgiving 2020, the year of the pandemic, the year of a lot of different things. It's going to be wild how this year is remembered in history, but a lot to talk about today and not that much time to do it. I know that we are going up against other shows at this time, or like we don't want to push into that. So I will try to make this a half-hour show and just get in, get out, say what I have to say, hear what you guys have to say. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, streamlabs.com/RoxyStryer or right here in the super chat. But I've been doing a lot of thinking. Sometimes it takes me a couple days to process something. I'm sure you guys might be the same way. And we learned from our friend LD the other day that one of the rock stars, NationZZZ, committed suicide. And NationZZZ was somebody who was just a doll. He was great. He was supportive of me, of you guys, of the rock star community. He was queer and he was coming out. He was still figuring out about himself and his life. He was a musical theater fan and lover and singer and was excited about possibly being in Les Mis. And he had come out to his parents and they threw him out of the house. And a month ago, he wrote to us here and he said that his parents had thrown him out of the house. He went to go live with his friend, or who he thought was his friend. His friend called over a bunch of people to kick his ass. And they kicked his ass. They raped him with a plunger. And he felt empty inside and horrible. And he tried to take his own life a month ago. He ended up in a facility. And in that facility, he was put on medication and I believe antidepressants. And he tried to get better. And at the end of the day, we don't know exactly what went through his head, but he ended up taking his life a few days ago. And I didn't know to what extent to talk about it on this show because, to be perfectly honest, as somebody who is somewhat familiar with suicide, and I have had people who've committed suicide in my life and grew up in a school where people had committed suicide and whatnot. Sometimes when you talk about it, I don't know how to phrase this perfectly, so hopefully you guys stick with me here. But when people believe that suicide is being glorified, it tends to happen more frequently. Usually suicides don't come in ones. They often come in threes. And I didn't know if I talk about this too much, am I putting any of you guys at risk? Is this something that you guys see that I'm now putting NationZZZ in the title of the show? And is that something that resonates with people or makes them feel like they will be remembered in a different way? So I was concerned and nervous. But at the end of the day, I've been thinking a lot about it. And I'm assuming that means that you guys have been thinking a lot about it. And I think that it has to be talked about, and I think that he deserves to be remembered and spoken of. So that's why I'm talking a little bit about it here today. He was a true rock star. He was in here almost every day until he started going through all these issues. And my heart breaks for him. And I went back through all the Streamlabs he had sent in and comments and whatnot. And just sometimes from afar in here, there's nothing we can really do but support people. But just think about the people that were in his life. And I don't mean to say this because I'm sure his parents are not listening to this show, but at the end of the day, they're going to have to live with their own actions because they had a son who came to them and trusted them and told them that he was queer. And they threw him out of the house. And that ultimately was step one to leading to what ultimately happened. So I think that doing the right thing is both selfless and selfish. I'm not somebody who is capable of, I would not be capable. I don't feel the way his parents feel. And granted, I'm not a religious person. This doesn't go against anything that I believe. Being gay is just being gay to me, and being queer is being queer. And I love people, and love is love to me. And I know that not everybody feels that way, but I don't know how his parents look in the mirror now. I don't know how they do it, because maybe at some point they would have come around, but that was the catalyst. And I think that we all need to take a good hard look at ourselves during these times and realize, are we treating people with as much love and kindness as we possibly can? I always talk about how being nice isn't very important to me. I'm not somebody who's very nice. You guys know I'm edgy, I've got attitude, I'm a little bitchy, I'm aggressive, I'm abrasive, but I am definitely kind. I treat people with kindness. I go out of my way to show love and help and consideration. And I hope that you guys, even those of you who aren't particularly nice, I hope that you're kind, because especially this year, especially during these times, especially as people are alone and feel more alone than ever and aren't able to travel, or are traveling, or aren't with the people that they love for Thanksgiving or the holidays, or have been by themselves for 9 months, or whatever it is. We need a little love right now. And the last thing that he said in the Streamlabs to us, which was 1 month ago as of tomorrow. So it was, tomorrow makes 1 month since the last time that he came and talked to us. He said, "Thank you for letting me vent. Could I please get a little love?" And I looked at that, and that just kind of broke my fucking heart, because what a small ask. Just what a little ask that is. He wasn't asking for money, or us to go follow him somewhere, or to go see his show, or anything. At the end of the day, he just wanted somebody to hear him and listen. He appreciated us letting him vent, and he just wanted a little fucking love, which I think is, first of all, like, should be a base level. It's so little to do to somebody, to love and appreciate and support them, and any of those things. But just for us, remember how much that means, because I have to say, I live in a life and with a family who does fucking love me. And every day somebody's telling me they love me. My sister, my brother, my dad, my friends, Dorina and Steph. You know, I get to hear that every day from somebody that I'm on the phone with, Grammy and Papo and Grandma. And some people do not have that. Some people don't have anybody that they're on the phone with who just say, "I love you," or that say something kind to them, or make them feel seen or listened to, or anything. So just never underestimate how important it is. And again, especially during this time, to call somebody or send them a text. Jake Yacovetta, my amazing moderator in here, and my dear friend, and somebody who's been an incredible support to me during this time, also friend of the show. He put out a tweet last night just saying that I was doing well, and like that I had made a lot of progress, or whatever it was. It probably took him like a couple of minutes, and it meant so much to me. And I said something, I gave him shit back about saying F the Patriots or whatever, but like little things like that. Are you guys in here right now? People sending bunnies, sending hearts, all of that. It makes a difference, and it's so easy and simple. And I can hear those words, and they feel like they echo, "Could I please get a little love?" And it shouldn't be something that somebody has to ask for. It shouldn't be something that somebody has to ask for. So, NationZZZ, you were one of the good ones. And I'm sorry it took me a couple of days to really talk about this in a way that I should have previously. For anybody during this time who is feeling thoughts and feelings that maybe NationZZZ did have, I want you guys to know that I really, truly believe, and this is the horrible part, that it would have gotten better for NationZZZ. He just couldn't hang in anymore. And that is his truth. And that is the cross that the people in his life will have to bear. But I believe in you guys, and I believe that it does get better. I know that it does get better. And sometimes you just have to fucking hang in. And I don't blame him or shame him for not. I think when you're a teenager, it's really hard to see that there is a light. But for anybody in here, please, please remember that you don't know what comes tomorrow. Whatever town you're living in right now is not necessarily the town you'll always be living in. And whatever family you have now doesn't necessarily have to be your chosen family. You have options. You have outlets. You have us. So anyway, sorry for the morning tears prior to depending on what coast you're on, prior to noon. If you're on my coast, okay, they're afternoon tears. But I just wanted to show respect and love for Eric, NationZZZ. Thank you to you guys all for being in here. Shout out to everybody who's joining us. Sean Quinn, Scott Welch, Haskell 420, Patricia, Petruccio, Mohammed, PLD, Silos, Bobby, Wasim, Spencer, Rob, Bruce, Glenn, Level 2, Zeno, Scott, French Taunter, Robert Parker. Hi, Robert Parker. Happy to have you, honey. Ryan Payne, Spidey Sensei, Jake Yacovetta, Chris Martinez, DK, Chuck, John Bainbridge, Rich, Christopher, Spencer, Carol, Tom, Nathan, Cinema Garia. Hopefully I'm giving shout outs to most of you guys. It's important to me that you guys feel seen and heard. And for all of you guys who continue to show up here and support me, you make me feel seen and heard and loved. And I really, really appreciate that. Nadine, Lauren, Mark, all of the people in here. So thank you guys for being here for me, and thank you for previously being here for NationZZZ, and for all the people who have come in here struggling and needing a little extra love and support on the days that they show up. It happens to all of us. Let's go into the Streamlabs for a second, streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar, and see what's going on in here. Glenn Caesar started us off and said, "Hello, Roxy, love you. Happy World Girl Wednesday. As always, thanks for taking the time to hang out with us today. Thank you for the tweet about Eric. I hope you and the rock stars can all find a way to feel some joy in each of your days, weeks, and months this year and next. May we all still feel a sense of togetherness, being a part of something throughout the rest of the year and beyond. Even if we're by ourselves, we're not alone. Don't forget, RJ and rock stars, you're kind, you're smart, you're important, so you're worthy. As always, peace, love, bunnies, and hugs to RJ and all the rock stars. The rock stars and world friends communities are the best place to be. I'm glad that I made the choice to become one, and I'm here with you all. You're great. Hashtag rockstars band. Hashtag smash cancer. Thanks, Glenn Caesar. We love you. Mark Jason Ali says, hi, Roxy. Hope you're well and enjoying your time home. Daily reminder, Miles, Brett, John, arrest the scumbags that killed Brianna. I'm hopefully watching World Girls tonight. If not live, I'll catch the replay. Any chance you'll be on SEN more than once a week? Rest in peace, NationZZZ. Mark Jason Ali, thank you so much for sharing this. Thank you for reminding us about Miles, Brett, and Jonathan. I would love to be on SEN more than once a week. I don't know that it's in their budget. And also, I think more voices. I'd rather Steph be able to be on once a week and whatnot. But I would love to. And I told Christian that I'd be happy to. And want to. And rest in peace, NationZZZ, absolutely. Cinema Garia says, thank you, Roxy and rock stars. Bless up, NationZZZ and his friends. Queer Lives Matter. Absolutely. Absolutely. Ace Money in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar says, Roxy, thanks for speaking on this and building a community of people that care about each other. I'm heartbroken that NationZZZ took his life. Hang in there. You're doing great. Yeah, you guys make it. I try not to allow anybody in here that doesn't make it a safe community, and our amazing mods do such a great job with that. Jake and PLD and Brandy and Matt, and you guys are just awesome, but you guys make it the community that it is. So thank you guys for doing that and making this a safe place for me to talk about this stuff. Okay. Garth Harkness McMurray says, rest in peace, NationZZZ. I have bipolar disorder and I've had suicidal thoughts many times. My mom's bipolar and she attempted suicide many times when I was a kid. Her attempt showed me that suicide does not end your pain. It spreads the pain out to those who love you. I think that's a really important thing to try to remember, Garth, because it doesn't stop with you. And none of us, regardless of how we feel, are an island. So I appreciate you sharing that and appreciate you showing up all the time. And we love and appreciate you, Garth. So thank you for trusting us with that. Glenn Caesar in here also said, I know that you started the show talking about NationZZZ, and I agree, but to keep the daily reminders going, Miles Cosgrove, Brett Hankins, and Jonathan McNamee arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor, all three of them for killing Breonna Taylor. I love that it's not just my journey now, that you guys are in on that too. And thank you. Thank you for continuing to put those reminders in there and holding me accountable and keeping me accountable for that stuff as well. I just want to go over in the chat for a little bit here because I want to see what you guys have to say today. Jake Jacobetta has put this in a couple times. I do think it's important to remind ourselves and our friends or anybody who might need this. If anyone close to you needs help, please reach out to a friend or National Suicide Prevention Lifeline, which is 1-800-273-8255. I know that there's a ton of different ones as well, like for, especially if you're going through what NationZZZ is for queer people. There's the Trevor Project, which my dear friend Jeff Masters, friend of the show, worked at for a long time, and their hotline as well. But there's a lot of different places that you can go. And like I said, nobody is an island. Nadine said, rest in peace, NationZZZ. Extremely sad to hear this news. Yeah, let's see. Ryan says, being there for someone speaks volumes. I completely agree. The third church says his parents will have to live with that regret now for the rest of their lives. I don't say that to rub it in. I'm sure that kind of pain is not pain that any of us would ever want to experience, but that is true, that they do have to live with that. And people should factor that in when they're making their decisions on how to treat people, family members or otherwise. Patricia says, okay, guys, I'm a little behind in the video, but I need to say this. As a born-again Christian, love is the most important thing. My heart breaks for this young man. You can't rather people without love. I don't know what the rather people part is, but love is incredibly important. Thrawn in the house, hugs to all, share love. Absolutely. Absolutely. Jake, thank you for putting this link in thetrevorproject.org. It's an unbelievable organization. Okay. Sometimes I say okay so aggressively that I don't even know how to get through it. Going into the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/Roxy Striar, Garth Harkness McMurray said, I'm thankful for great friends, family, and people like you who shine light onto the darkness of my life. I've survived against the odds with fatal diseases, and I'll be damned if I take myself out after fighting to survive for so long. Keep on keeping on. Thank you, Garth, for saying that. And that's a pretty beautiful way of looking at it, that you are a fighter. And sometimes the fight just has to continue, but I appreciate having all of you guys here and every day that you do keep up the fight. I also wanted to use this to talk a little bit about the holidays because I am seeing this trend online. And I don't know whether I'm sensitive to this because of where I am or what, but I'm seeing a lot of my friends, close friends of mine, people who have been on this show, who are saying things like, shame on you if you're traveling during this time. Shame on you if you get on a plane right now. Shame on you if you're spending Thanksgiving with your family. Shame on you, etc., etc. First of all, the word shame is incredibly harsh. Shame on you is such a harsh phrase. I think shame on you is an important thing to say to people, or an important phrase, and can be very poignant when it's shame on you for not believing that Black Lives Matter, or shame on you for throwing your son out of the house because he was queer. For the other things that they're using it for, I don't think anybody really knows anybody's story. I think that right now, it's people are making tough decisions. And there are some things that are inexcusable. You have to wear a mask during this time. You can't not wear a mask. That's just, you have to do that. You can't have big gatherings right now. You cannot do that. You need to gather, if you are gathering at all, outside. That's what we know. These are the things we know because of science and because of our doctors. But nobody knows anybody's situation. And when we see things like somebody taking their own life, you don't know where somebody is at mentally. You don't know what the surrounding circumstances are. And so do I believe that everybody right now theoretically should absolutely stay home and be as safe as possible and not see a single person for the holidays? I absolutely believe that. But do I believe that sometimes that's just not the best option, or it's not an option, or there are safer ways, as safe as you can ways to do something else? Yeah. So if you are getting on a plane during this time, then please, please protect yourself and others. Wash your hands 1,000 fucking times. And you know the 20 seconds warm water, including your thumbs. Bring Purell with you. Buy a face shield. They're $2. Double mask. Get the best kind of mask that you can afford. Do those things. Don't eat and don't drink on the plane where you have to remove your mask. Do everything you can to keep people safe. If you are in a house with people and they're eating Thanksgiving dinner, if you are eating, be 6 feet away from somebody. Stand in a corner if it means that. Eat at different times, or one of you can be wearing a mask, the other can be eating. Things that feel a little weird. Don't take massive group pictures with nobody wearing a mask on. Don't take off your mask just for that picture in the group. There's tons of different things. But for the mass amount of people who are just saying, shame on you right now, I think this is why our country is being so pushed in these two polarizing directions, because what is that helping? Shame on you. And, I haven't talked about my situation yet, but my back was against the wall and I had to come home for something. So, I tried to fly on an off day where the airport was pretty empty, and I'm trying to wait into the week to fly back so I can do it as safe as possible. But unrelated to Thanksgiving, I had to come home for something. Sometimes that happens. So judge a little less, love a little more. It's okay to try to educate people. It's okay to try to say and stick to your comforts. And if you can stay home during this time, please do. And wear a mask if you cannot, and all of those things. And tell your family members that you're not okay with them not wearing a mask, and you're only going to come if they also will be in masks, and all of those things. But shaming people and frankly bullying people into trying to make the decision that you want them to make, it's not helpful. So I wanted to speak a little bit on that. By the way, guys, sorry about the audio still. I can't get the microphone to work, so I'm using this. If you guys are listening on Apple Podcast or Spotify, I ASAP, I'm going to go back to the microphone, but for now, it's just kind of got shittier audio. I'm sorry. It's not going to be like this forever, possibly one more week, but no longer than that. And thank you guys for rating and commenting and subscribing and all the reviews there. I will read them at the end of this show. Quick streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Pink Sweet says, this is no slight to Jake leaving the suicide hotline number in the chat, but those hotlines suck. I've tried calling the numbers. I've been put on hold every time. Don't let that number be the be-all, end-all. Reach out to any chosen family you have. You are not alone. Pink Sweets, I appreciate you talking about your experience. I have a lot of friends who those hotlines have saved their life. So I think that one person's experience is not everybody, but I do agree that sometimes you have to fight a little harder than you want. And you might call and you might be put on hold, and that might mean that you have to pick up the phone and call a friend or a different hotline or something. It might take 2, 3, 4 different goes at it. But I wouldn't say that they suck, because I know that they've saved people's lives, and especially the Trevor Project. But Pink Sweets, thank you for sharing your story, and it's completely valid, and I appreciate you acknowledging that, because sometimes it's not as easy as just calling. Sometimes it's not. Glenn says the audio is fine. When you listen on YouTube, it is, but when you go to Apple Podcasts or Spotify, the audio sounds like shit. I know, because I've been having to update them and edit them and load them, and all of that stuff. So let me go over to Apple Podcast and talk about and read a couple of these reviews. And then I have one more thing that I quickly want to talk about before we get out of here, because this is some fuck yeah news, and I think we could all use it today. And even though it doesn't look as much like fuck yeah news, it really is. So I always try to at least have one thing for us to be grateful for, thankful for, and excited about in every single show. My friend Robert Parker says, as important as it is for people who are struggling to reach out, it's also as important, if not more, for people who aren't struggling to reach out first. That's completely true. I try to encourage you guys on this show all of the time to pick up the phone, send out 5 text messages, call 3 people, whatever it is that you can do. It makes a fucking difference. It really does, when somebody feels like they are loved. So please, please go that extra step if you can. Okay. In the chat or the ratings for Apple Podcasts, and I will read all of these throughout the whole week. So thank you guys for putting these in here. Sally Salamander 111 says, wow, 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 gives 5 stars and says, obsessed with rocks in this content. Thanks, Sally. You're amazing. Austin Kramer says, great show. I love the show. Watch it every day with 5 stars. Thank you, Austin. And the last one of the day, Kadosho_Aji says, vibes, 5 stars. Need to pick me up something fun and awesome? Well, look no further. This amazing podcast contains various topics from entertainment to music, film, TV, and more. It's a fantastic must listen. Roxy's amazing host and shares what's on her mind and what she enjoys, plus connects with her audience in a fantastic way. A must tune in. Thank you, Kadosho. I really, really appreciate that as well. Okay. So for a little bit of fuck yeah news for you guys, even though, again, this might not be relevant to some of you guys and probably isn't relevant to most of us. But I saw this last night trending, and I was like, fuck yeah. Scotland became the first country in the world to make sanitary products free. Now, why is this important? This is important because there are millions of women in this world, millions, who can't afford tampons, pads, anything. And so when they get their period, they cannot go to school, they cannot go to work, they cannot leave their home because they bleed onto the floor. It is unbelievably ludicrous how expensive these products are. And the fact that you are born as a woman most of the time means that you, once a month, so 1 week of every 4 weeks, get a fucking period. And that's something you're born with. It's not something you choose. It's something you're born with. And then to have to pay an asinine amount of money in order to keep that blood inside of you so that you're not bleeding all over people's restaurants or schools or whatever it is, for it to cost you that much money. So that means that a lot of women in other places cannot work. They cannot be as educated. Like, there's things that they physically cannot do because they have a fucking period, which is so stupid. So Scotland is the first. It definitely will not be the last. This should be a given. It says the Scottish Parliament voted unanimously to pass a measure that requires local authorities to ensure free period products are available to anyone who needs them. Scottish Labour MSP Monica Lennon, who spearheaded the campaign, says the vote marks a proud day for Scotland and a signal to the world that free universal access to period products can be achieved. That absolutely made them make history. And I just wanted to say that in 2020, this being the first country is insane, but it's just great. It's just great. Pink Sweets, yes, women and people who menstruate. Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you for acknowledging that as well. Appreciate you. You guys are always keeping me on point and on track. And it's very important. So yeah, Legoland says they can be law of supply and demand for Elastic Products, bro. What is this in response to? Oh, Bruce Banner says, might be a stupid question, but why are they so expensive? It's not a stupid question. They shouldn't be. It's just the way that it's been. And like the better ones are more expensive because there's some that are like too thin or that you have to change more often. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on here. So for any of you guys who don't know, it's a pain in the fucking ass. It's a pain in the fucking ass. So this is awesome. Anyway, I'll take that fuck yeah news for the day, and I will use that as my last bit of news. Probably didn't expect that this stream, but threw it in there. Let's see. Jake Yakavetta in the Streamlabs, streamlabs.com/RoxyStrara says, Garth has been trying to tell you for weeks that you need to put the toilet lid down, not just the seat. LOL. Hashtag fuck toilet plumes. Yeah, I've been putting the lid down. That's what I mean when I say the seat. I'm not just talking about the seat. The seat's already down when you're a girl because you got to sit on it. I put down the whole thing. That's called a lid. You're right. I need to clarify. It's important clarification. Put down the lid, not just the seat, everyone. All right. We're going to get out of here. One more time, I'm just going to remind everybody because we can't say it enough. Show love. Show some love. Do it for NationZZZ. Eric, you're going to be missed. We loved you. We love you. We don't want to see what happened to you happen to anybody else. This community is open for all types of people, whether you are LGBTQIA or Black or white or Asian or Latinx or non-binary or tall or short or skinny or fat or young or old or whatever. The rock stars are here. We do not judge, and we love you guys, and I love you guys. So thank you for being here with us. Stay safe, stay sane. Happy Thanksgiving tomorrow. Don't worry, I'll still be here even though it's a holiday. You guys know I'm about that everyday life. And don't forget to tune into World Girls tonight, where we give Friendsgiving a whirl as we deep fried turkey. It's going to get interesting. I love you guys lots, and I'll see you tonight for World Girls and tomorrow for Live with Roxy.